Stir Crazy Productions, baby.
What's good? Matthew Shack, Stir Crazy Productions. Y'all know what it is. Motivation Monday. Week 6. We rolling. We ain't stopping. For what? Turn down for what? You know what I'm saying? We don't turn down, we turn up. We're going to continue to turn up. First thing, I like to say is, start following your boy on Twitter. That's Shackster, SHACKSTER 21 at Twitter. And my handle at Instagram is the same, at Shackster 21. You also go on YouTube. Follow me under Stir Crazy Productions, STERCRAZY Productions with a S. As well as Matthew Shack at Yahoo, YouTube. So, we got that out the way, man. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this topic. And what the topic is going to be consist of today is, do you want to do right or do you want to be right? Do you want to do right or do you want to be right? Now, this is something that I have been dealing with my entire life. I wanted to be right more than do right, because I figured if I was being right, I was automatically doing right. Nah. But as you get older, you start realizing that, man, just because you want to do something doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing. When you're selfish and you're only thinking about yourself, when you're young, you got youth as an excuse. Youthful exuberance and naivete and all that kind of stuff. But as you get older, you got somebody running around who is not being forthcoming to other people's feelings and just doing whatever. That person becomes a pariah. That becomes somebody you avoid. That's like, oh, damn, here he come again. Phone rang. Man, caller ID, there she go. No, she wants something. So it comes down to, do you want to do right or do you want to be right? Let me explain what I'm talking about. A lot of people just want to be right. Somebody who you might be talking about something, you might have engaging in a conversation with a bunch of people, and somebody you ain't even talking to just comes in and just, yeah, that's why, blah, blah, blah. And, man, I was saying, what I think is blue. Them kind of people. Like, they want to be right. That's all they care about. They don't care about anything else. Their ego is totally attached to the outcome of a conversation, of an opinionated debate or a difference of opinion. They just want to be right at all costs, period. You know what I'm saying? Doing right is different, because a lot of times when you're doing right, you have to take yourself out of the equation to do right most of the time. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, man, all right, I'll give you an example. We were just out the other night, went out to dinner, Sunset Boulevard. We in LA. Just went to a nice movie, sitting in there hanging out, talking to a couple that we had met at the movie theater. We just so happened to run into them at this nice restaurant. And we started communicating about the movie that we saw and talking about the performances and whatnot. And there was two older ladies who were sitting very close to each other, but they just didn't like the fact that myself and this other person was having a conversation across from each other. We were sitting at a table and the other couple was sitting at a table, and we were engaging, and we got kind of loud and booming voices, but there was music and there was crowd and whatnot. This lady she didn't say it to me. Understand that, because that might not have turned out right. I might have wanted to be right in that situation. So she addressed the other person, the other gentleman, and was very kind of like condescending, kind of nasty about, would you guys mind holding it down? And, I can't hear my conversation. So I looked over at her like, you're sitting right next to the person you're talking to. And I had to think about it. Well, she ain't talking to me. She talking to him, you know? So he did something that perfectly presents what I'm talking about. He immediately apologized to the lady and said, ma'am, I'm sorry, we'll go ahead and keep it down. We'll lower it down or whatnot. She kind of did one of those, yeah, like that. Yeah, you better, And I'm looking at her like, man, ooh, glad she ain't talking to me. So we continued our conversation, and then he asked, could he, him and his wife, could they come over to our table and talk to us? So they came over to our table, and we sat there and we talked, and we got along very well, and met some new friends, and we were on our way back. We just happened to be parked at the same place, and we were walking back, and he started talking about it. He's like, man, I respect my elders, man, but it took a lot for me not to say something. And before we left, he went over there and apologized to them again. He's like, we meant no disrespect, kind of loud or whatever. And so then she started, trying to be jovial, and she started opening up and loosening up. And then her friend was like, what sign are you? And da-da-da. And it turned like into a nice scenario after that. But it was because the guy wanted to do right and not be right. Okay. So, but when we were walking back to the car, he made it very clear to me that he said, that's not me really. That's something I've been working on, because I was taught to respect my elders, but she really deserved to get cussed out, really. And I kind of thought to myself, yeah, she kind of did. She was out of pocket. She kind of did deserve to get cussed out, but she's an older lady, and you got to have a certain amount of respect and respect your elders and all that kind of stuff. That's doing right. Even though it didn't really benefit and it turned out great, I learned something from that. You know what I'm saying? I learned that there's times where you'd have to take it on the chin, not literally. Don't let nobody hit you in the chin. Forget all that, because it's on and popping where I come from. Sometimes you say the wrong thing, it might be on and popping, but I digress. But in that scenario, man, that was doing right, not being right. Because that's what it's all about, man. You want to be successful in life, there's going to come times where you're going to have to make a choice. Do you want to be right, or do you want to do right? You know what I'm saying? Most of the time, if you being right, you better be in position where you're in a position of authority so you could be right. So everybody under their breath can say you're not right, but they're going to do what they want. They're going to do what you want them to do because you're the boss. Now, if you're an employee, you understand that. You know what I'm saying? If you're an entrepreneur, you're going to have to learn that. Can't always be right with a client. You might have to do right if you want to keep a client. So that's what's really going on. Make that decision, understand, and be quick on your feet. Be able to analyze the situation and understand, is this a be right situation or is this a do right situation?
Stir Crazy Productions, baby.